The evening air hung thick with fog, curling gently like a whisper around the towering silhouette of Tower Bridge. As nightfall cloaked the city, the rhythmic lapping of the Thames against the ancient cobblestones formed a soothing backdrop, intermingling with the distant echoes of laughter and conversation from passers-by. The grandeur of the bridge, with its magnificent twin towers piercing the mist, stood as both a sentinel of history and a witness to the lives unfolding beneath it. On the riverside, a solitary figure emerged from the haze, Arthur, the fisherman, wrapped in his weathered coat that carried the scent of the river and tales untold. He stepped quietly onto the glistening stones, the soft crunch echoing in the stillness. This was his sanctuary, a place where the world faded away, leaving only the serene embrace of the Thames and the promise of the night ahead. With a deep breath, he prepared to cast his line, seeking not just fish, but a connection to something greater. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Arthur stood beneath the grandeur of Tower Bridge, a familiar silhouette shrouded in fog. The air was brisk, tinged with the salty scent of the Thames, yet there was comfort in the chill. Clad in his worn coat, soft from years of use, he felt the weight of solitude settle around him like a favorite blanket. This spot, with its ancient cobblestones and the gentle lapping of the river, had become his refuge, a place of reflection amidst the bustling city. Arthur glanced up at the towering structure, its steel and stone a testament to the passage of time. Here, beneath the watchful gaze of past generations, he felt a sense of belonging, as if the bridge itself was connecting him to the stories of those who had come before. With a deep breath, he prepared his fishing line, ready to immerse himself in the night's tranquility, unaware of the wonders that awaited him just below the surface. Arthur stood at the water's edge, his worn coat brushing against the cool evening breeze. The gentle sound of the Thames lapping at the cobblestones became a familiar hymn, soothing his restless spirit. He reached into his weathered tackle box, selecting a bait with the care of a craftsman. As he threaded it onto his line, memories of his father brought warmth to his heart. He could almost hear the echoes of laughter from those carefree days by the river, the sun casting golden rays onto their shared moments. With a slow, deliberate motion, Arthur cast his line into the murky depths, watching the ripples expand outward. Each splash seemed to carry away the weight of his solitude, as if the river itself was absorbing his worries. In this tranquil ritual, amidst the fading light and the distant sounds of city life, he felt a fragile connection to something greater, an undying thread linking him to the age-old stories waiting to unfold. Arthur stood at the water's edge, his fishing line poised, the cool, damp air wrapping around him like a familiar blanket. As he cast his line, the delicate plop of the bait hitting the Thames seemed to echo his own heart, sending ripples across the water. The rhythmic whisper of the river calmed his mind, a gentle reminder of the countless hours he'd spent seeking solace in this spot beneath Tower Bridge. Each cast was more than a pursuit of fish. It was a connection to the currents of his own life. He allowed his thoughts to drift, memories intertwining with the sounds of the water, laughter from days spent with his father, the way they shared silence while waiting for a bite. In that moment, he was not just a lone fisherman. He was part of the great tapestry of life woven through the river, where every drop held a story waiting to unfold. A gentle unease began to simmer in the air as Arthur sat there, fishing line in hand, staring deeply into the murky waters of the Thames. The familiar sounds of the city seemed to shift, blending with an almost imperceptible hum that vibrated through the cobblestones beneath his feet. He cast his line once more, but this time a ripple broke the surface, shimmering with a strange luminescence that caused him to pause. The fog swirled around him, thickening until his surroundings felt dreamlike. He shivered, not from the chill of the evening air, but from an inexplicable sense that he was not alone. The echoes of the river seemed to embrace him, whispering secrets of those who had walked this path before him. Arthur leaned closer to the water, heart racing as he sensed a shift, an invitation to something deeper than solitary fishing, a gateway to unimaginable stories waiting to be told. As the water shimmered under the bridge, Arthur squinted into the mist, and the air felt charged with a palpable energy. Suddenly, a figure emerged, delicate and ethereal, The Victorian seamstress, her attire a cascade of lace and fabric, whispering tales of a bygone era. She stepped forward, the sounds of clattering needles and bustling markets lingering in the air around her. "I've stitched together the fabric of 1,000 lives," she began, her voice like a soft sigh. "Perseverance is the thread that binds us all, even when the world feels frayed at the edges." Arthur listened intently as she recounted nights spent by flickering candlelight, crafting garments that bore witness to love and heartbreak. Her passion was palpable, a reminder that every stitch held a story, every garment a journey. As she faded into the mist, Arthur felt an echo of her determination, leaving him with a profound sense of purpose amidst the whispers of the past. As Arthur listens to the haunting whispers of the Thames, a new shimmer interrupts the surface of the water. In its depths, a figure begins to emerge, a jazz musician, clad in a dapper suit, his trumpet slung over his shoulder. The ghostly presence carries an air of nostalgia, and as he begins to play a soft, melodic tune, the enchanting sound reverberates through the fog, weaving its way into Arthur's heart. With each note, the musician shares his tale of smoky jazz clubs and late-night serenades. He recounts moments filled with laughter, love, and the cathartic power of music in turbulent times. "In every note," he says, "there lies a thread of hope, a balm for the weary soul." Arthur, enraptured, feels the rhythm of the city pulse through him, connecting him to the dreams and struggles of those who once danced beneath the same starry skies. As the music fades, Arthur understands. Every song carries a story worth remembering. As the whispers of the past lingered in the air, a figure emerged from the fog, a soldier clad in the tattered remnants of his uniform. His eyes reflected the weight of memories long carried. With a voice that trembled yet resonated with strength, he began to recount his story. He spoke of distant battlefields where the echoes of gunfire drowned out the cries of humanity. Amidst the chaos, hope became a flickering flame, a defiant spark against despair. He described comrades who had become family and the bonds forged in the crucible of war, emphasizing how love can flourish even in the darkest of times. Arthur listened intently, feeling the soldier's courage seep into his veins. He understood now that each life, despite its struggles, held a narrative deserving of remembrance. In the murmur of the Thames, the soldier's tale wove seamlessly into Arthur's growing tapestry of stories, bridging the chasms of time. As the voices of the past intertwine like delicate threads, Arthur finds himself suspended in a tapestry of shared experiences. The stories, rich with emotion, weave together a profound understanding of life's common struggles and triumphs. The seamstress, with her worn fingers, spoke of long nights spent stitching dreams into fabric, reminding Arthur of the beauty found in perseverance. The jazz musician's melodies echoed in his mind, each note a testament to resilience and healing, urging him to find his own rhythm in the chaos of existence. The soldier's tales resurfaced, each memory infused with hope, illuminating the darkness of despair with flickers of light. Arthur listens with rapt attention, realizing that these lives, though separate and distanced by time, share an eternal bond through the river's flow. In this moment, the past and present coalesce, revealing that every story, including his own, is a vital part of the city's heartbeat. As Arthur listened, the echoes of the past began to resonate within him, intertwining with his own life experiences. The voices of the seamstress, the musician, and the soldier faded into a soft hum, creating a harmonious melody that spoke of shared humanity. In that moment, he grasped the significance of their stories, each narrative a thread in the rich tapestry of existence. He pondered the weight of solitude that had settled over him like a heavy fog. Yet here, beneath the towering structure of history, he felt a flicker of connection. Perhaps he was not as alone as he had thought. The river, with its eternal flow, reminded him that every life, no matter how solitary, carries with it a chorus of voices and experiences. It was in this realization that he found meaning, not just in the act of fishing, but in the quiet sharing of forgotten tales that linked him to the pulse of the city. As the specters wove their stories into the fabric of the night, Arthur felt a sudden pull on his fishing line, a sensation that cut through the ethereal whispers surrounding him. His heart quickened. Anticipation fluttered like a trapped bird within his chest. Could this be a sign, a culmination of the wisdom he had gathered, an offering from the very river that cradled these tales. With steady hands he began to reel in the line, the murmur of the Thames becoming a chorus of encouragement. Each turn of the reel felt like a deliberate connection to the past, drawing nearer the unknown. The glow of the bridge flickered, casting fleeting shadows that danced with his heartbeat. In that moment of suspense, Arthur's solitude transformed. He was no longer just a fisherman beneath an ancient bridge. He was a seeker, unraveling the threads of stories mingling with his own, ready to discover what awaited him in the depths below. As the stories began to fade into the mist, Arthur felt a sudden tug on his line, a curious interruption in the rhythmic whisper of the Thames. Heart racing, he braced himself, reeling it in slowly, anticipation thrumming through his veins. With each turn of the reel, he felt a flutter of excitement building within him. Finally emerging from the depths was not a fish, but a beautifully ornate bottle, glimmering even in the dim light. Its glass, intricate and shimmering, seemed to hum with a life of its own. Arthur gently unscrewed the cap and peered inside, straining to hear the delicate echoes of the stories trapped within. Voices intertwined, soft and urgent, urging him to share their wisdom with the world above. Each word felt sacred, a collective memory waiting for recognition. At that moment, Arthur knew he had found something extraordinary, an invitation to honor the lives that came before him. Arthur gazed down at the ornate bottle nestled in his hands, its surface glinting in the fading light. The weight of it felt both foreign and familiar, a symbol of the stories that had just touched his heart. He could still hear the echoes of the Victorian seamstress, the jazz musician, and the soldier, their voices woven together in a tapestry of wisdom and emotion. A soft breeze brushed against his cheek, as if urging him to take a step beyond his solitude. He couldn't help but ponder the significance of what he held. It was more than just glass and cork. It contained the essence of lives lived and lessons learned. With each heartbeat, the responsibility to share this legacy pulsed within him. In that moment, Arthur realized that he had transformed from a solitary fisherman into a vessel for the stories of the past, tasked with passing on the wisdom of those who had come before him.